All this is an old Tetley T10. We also have is a folding frying pan, and someone has taken the time to carve into the bone handle. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a 1917 fisherman's battle belt. You're going to like it. Stay tuned. You know, for many folks back in the day, being around the creeks and streams and rivers of our countryside was very common, it was very usual. And if you wanted to go out and enjoy just an afternoon trek, or maybe you had a Saturday off or something and you just really wanted to relax, but you didn't want to carry a whole lot of gear, people had different ways of solving that problem. And so one of the ways they solved the problem was this 1917 fisherman's battle belt. And I'll let you look at it real close here. All right, there are 5 items, and I want to talk to you about what's on the belt as well as what's in the various pouches. I really think it's interesting, and it sort of goes a long way to explain how people solve the problems of their day to go lightweight and still be able to enjoy some time out in the countryside like we are right now. So let's get to that. So this idea comes from an old article written by V.L. McKinley. And he says that he often thought about a way to carry a light but complete fishing equipment for a day's fishing adventure. And so it also had to contain enough for having a lunch and at noon, but also to make sure that it had, you know, a minimum of weight as well as the bother in handling and carrying it around so you could trek through the woods as easy as possible. So this idea is what he came up with. We have 5 items, all on a single belt, which goes around the small of the waist. Very easy to carry and relatively waterproof and easy to care for. So that's very important, and it contains all the necessary items to do what he said he wanted to do with it. All right, let's get started by looking first in this tin. All this is an old Tetley T10. And the important thing is that it does have to have a hinged lid so that when you lift it, you can't lose the lid. If you just had a press-on, press-fit lid, it could fall off. Also notice that we have taken some pieces of old tin can and we've made belt loops. Now these are folded over on the inside here so that there aren't any sharp edges to cut into the belt. So everything's folded in and then hammered flat. And then just simple pop rivets on there. You could use small screws, machine screws. If you do that though, make sure you use some sort of a Loctite or locking washer to keep that in place. All right, let's look at what's on the inside. So opening the lid, it's a couple things visible right on top. And first of all, we have a small box here, a little wooden box of hooks. And if you want to get these, this does come from Logsdon & Company. These are period correct hooks. And there are, as you can see, plenty in there for what we need to do for a day's fishing. There are assorted sizes. And this does screw tight, so it's not going to just pop off and you lose all your fish hooks. Also down in here, as he mentioned, he would carry a match safe with some matches in it. This is an Everdry. And we can open this up and you can see we have some matches down in here. And I always pack an extra striker, because you just never know. These are strike anywhere matches, but we want to make sure that we can get them to strike wherever we are. So again, very important to carry that. And then also from Logsdon & Company, and a very handy little period correct wooden tube, we have a number of assorted split shot for weights. And it all fits really nicely in there. And I will make sure to put links down below to Logsdon & Company if you want to get some of these for your kit. And then last but not least, we have some braided fishing line. And this is just some old fishing line, you can see that. But this would be important, of course, for stringing up your line. So put the line in first, and then the weights. Next to that is the matches. Goes down in there and it kind of keeps things from rattling. And then finally the fish hooks fit right on top, and it closes down, and it's nice and secure. And now I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Electric E-Bikes. Well, warm weather is finally here, and you know what that means. We can finally get out and enjoy riding the electric XP4 e-bike again. It's great to be able to be back on the open road after a long cold winter. But now the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and everything is starting to turn green again. What a great time to be alive. You know, when I was younger, riding a bicycle represented my very first taste of personal freedom. Now that I'm a little older, riding a conventional bike is a lot harder. But with my electric XP4, all it takes is a touch of a button and a push on the throttle lever, and now I can pedal with ease. It even has all kinds of torque to power up steep hills. And with a bright headlight that is easily visible in the daytime, a strong taillight with good brake lights, and even rear turn signals, I can be sure that I'm visible and safe wherever my riding adventure may take me. So if you'd like to get back outside and once more rediscover the joy of riding on two wheels on your very own electric e-bike, make sure and check out the links in the description box below, or you can scan the QR code that's showing on your screen. And when you do order, make sure and click on the offer to receive a free e-bike cover using the discount code WayPoint at checkout. And once again, thanks so much to Electric E-Bikes for sponsoring this video. Now you might be asking, what about a fishing pole? Well, as he stated in his article, he usually would just go down by the side of the creek and just cut a pole, whether it be a cane pole or just a small flexible sapling, something, you know, small enough diameter that could be, you know, 4 or 5 feet long, tie it onto it and dangle it over. We're not talking about casting or necessarily fly fishing. This is just fishing around the bottoms and around creeks and big pools, you know, where you can see the fish swimming around. And again, it's for pleasure. It's not necessarily for something to just go out and you know, have a big competition with your buddies. This is something that is a personal kit, which is what I like about it, for just really lightweight wandering around in the woods, have a little fun fishing, and also take care of some of your other needs. All right, let's get to the next item. The next thing that every good woodsman would carry is, of course, a good solid sheath knife. And I like this one. This one goes clear back into the Civil War period, and someone has taken the time to carve into the bone handle a nice deer with some antlers, and it's all the way through, so it's peened over, and it just has a very pleasing blade profile. Of course, it's good high carbon steel, and it fits really well in the hand. It was made extremely well for what it does, and just the overall shape, it really lends itself to someone carrying it. Whoever made this put a lot of thought. So this is, like I said, right around the Civil War, post-Civil War, and things like this would be used on up into the early 20s and 30s. It's not uncommon for us to use knives today that are over 100 years old, and of course by this time metallurgy had gotten to the point where you could have blades that would last pretty long, and as long as you didn't overly sharpen them, just for general hunting and fishing and cleaning, as well as for, you know, processing firewood, as well as your fish, this would be absolutely perfect. So if you're enjoying this channel and you're getting something out of this video, we'd sure appreciate giving it a thumbs up, and make sure and subscribe. A lot of people that watch my videos on YouTube aren't subscribers. A large percentage, like more than 60%, don't subscribe. And so if you could subscribe, that would help us a whole lot going forward. I really appreciate it. Thanks. The next time we're going to look at is this drawstring bag. Now, he mentioned using one made from waterproofed muslin, and that is not as readily available today to us, but this is a waxed canvas bag, so this is easy to find. You can get these in a lot of places. It has the drawstring top, which he mentioned as being very important, and then on the back we have simply riveted some leather. And there are 2 pieces of leather that go across on the inside so that it's held nicely and firmly. You can see that when I open the inside, but this is so it can go on your belt very easily. And make sure and make these loops wide enough, not only on this one, but also on the can, so that it can handle a belt of up to, say, an inch, inch and a half, so that you can put a wider or narrower belt on there. Inside this pouch are carried several important items, and it's important that it's waterproof because you're around water. Also, if you get caught into a small rain, you do want to make sure that you don't you know, get caught up in that and get your stuff all wet. Here's the leather on the inside, and again, it just goes crossways, of one at the top and one at the bottom if you want to make one. All right, so the first thing that we see here in a piece of waxed paper, you can get this open, just held with some tape, is a couple of pieces of pre-buttered bread. All right, so it's already got the butter on it, so we're ready to eat. If we need to, just pull over somewhere, and if we don't catch anything or want to clean it, we've got the bread. And then along with that, we also have several pieces of bacon. And you can pre-cook this at home and then just warm it up when you get out to where you're going. There you can see we have 4 pieces of bacon, and we put that on our buttered bread, and we have a fantastic lunch meal all ready to go. Now, he would often carry 4 pieces of bread for 2 sandwiches, so it just depends how hungry you are, what your appetite is. Next, we have a small cotton drawstring bag. You can see, just an old cloves bag. And in here, we have a small vial of sugar, and then also a salt and pepper shaker with the salt and pepper mixed. Now, this has the area here on the top, the little holes for shaking it, and that would leak all over. So what we've done is we've simply taken a cork, and you put a cork in there, and then you can just put the lid down over top. When you get ready to eat, you pull that off. That also helps keep it dry. So very important thing, but some sugar and then some salt and pepper. The next item we have is a half tobacco tin, and in this half tobacco tin is enough coffee. This is instant coffee, which was invented way before the 1900s. But this is enough coffee for a couple of cups, so you can have something to drink along with your meal. We also have something to keep the fish on. So many of you are familiar with this. This is just a stringer, and put the fish on this, run this through the mouth and the gills. You can keep it in the water, keep it fresh, and something to carry along to go along with fish, however many you get. Next, we have a spoon. This is just an old plated silver spoon. It's got a hole drilled in it so I can hang it on something to let it dry. But this would be an important thing for stirring. And we also have down in here a small pair of pliers. Now, the reason we have that, and this is from his kit, is it goes with this. So he would just carry an old can. And this is for boiling water, it's for making coffee, and we need the pliers so we can reach in and get it out of the fire. This is also good for moving embers around. You can actually use it long like this, open it up and stir it around. Now, unlike many of them, this one does not have a flathead screwdriver on the end. You can always grind that down and make it. But this is just a very small pair of pliers. Again, goes with this, and then make your coffee, put in a little sugar, stir it around, and you're good to go. The last item is a folding frying pan. You can put a stick in there and make it longer for heating up the bacon, or again for frying fish. If you find any, you've got the salt and pepper to season it. Now, he said that he didn't always bring one with a handle. He would get what we would call a cowboy skillet, a cold handle skillet, and he would just cut the handle off and carry it without the handle, and then just use the pliers to fish it in and out of the fire. So if you do find an old cowboy skillet, one of those pressed metal affairs that doesn't have a handle on it, you can just simply use your pliers, and it will save you some space. So this all fits very compactly together. We fold this in and we put this like that. So you can see how all of that fits in there together. Down in here in the sack, pull that together, and just a simple tie, like you tie your shoes, pull that tight. And now we have our waterproof bag that has all of our lunch and coffee and everything that we would need, including some items for taking care of our fish when we catch them. Before we go any farther, I just want to take a moment and remind you to sign up for the WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter. This is our way to stay in touch with you should anything happen to the main channel. We think that YouTube is pretty secure and all of that, but we've seen other things go the way of the dodo bird in the past, and so we just want to make sure that we can maintain contact with you by getting your email. We'll also be sending you at least once, if not twice a week, the WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter, absolutely full of phenomenal ideas. You're going to want to print this out and keep it, maybe make your own binder of information. Just helps you go a long way toward your preparedness journey, as well as just regular survival and wilderness living. Thanks a lot. Now, after you fry your bacon, your fish, and you have your cup with coffee and you want to clean it out, all you got to do is take some sand or ashes from your fire, a little bit of water, and scour out the inside. Shake it dry. Maybe use your handkerchief, which every good woodsman would carry. Bring your handkerchief with you. This is also from Logsdon & Company, good 100% cotton. And you would use that to wipe and clean it out, put that back in your pocket to dry, and then that would take care of you. The next thing McKinley talks about is the need to have a small belt axe. and something that is lightweight. This is for chopping firewood. Of course, you could process fish with it and all of that, but it is just simply carried on a sheath. I happen to really like this one. It is, from what we can tell, an early marbles type design. It is unmarked, but I really like this one because it has a flat handle, and that makes it really easy to carry, and the ergonomics of it are really good, and it just feels really nice in the hand. It weighs very little, I think about 3/4 of a pound, so 12 ounces, and this just makes a perfect type carry for this kit because, again, it is lightweight, easy to hand, and you really don't even know you're carrying it. The final item that we have here is something that every fisherman would recognize. This is a small collapsible fishing net. So he carried an Eagle folding landing net. The leather sheath protects it perfectly from brush. You can perhaps see on here, it's got a picture of a nice fish being caught and leaping out of the water, so just kind of pretty there. And this one's the handy pack net made in Shamokin, Pennsylvania. And so it just has coils that unfold just like that. So you can see when you get it open, it's actually pretty good sized. So to put it back in, you very simply twist this like this, keep twisting until it folds all the way around. Tuck the net to the center like this, so it's all one nice handy unit, and keep it compressed using your hand. And then you just slide it back in the case like this, and you tuck all the net down inside so it doesn't snag on anything. Just keep that tucked in real good, and then tension keeps it held in place. Just like that. So here we have what it looks like all together. Putting it on is very simple. Just goes around the waist. All right, so this is easy to hand. This has my fishing line and all the other stuff I needed, the hooks and the sinkers for fishing. Of course, we have the knife here real close. That's if we need to get in there and cut a line quick or do something of that nature. Worst case scenario, and I need to get to my pouch, it's right here. I can dig in there and grab the pliers if I need to use that for the hook, or I can just slide it in a pocket. So this is a really convenient and easy way to carry a kit with you. Of course, along with this, as I told you, not only would you carry a handkerchief, but you would also want to carry some extra matches. One is not enough, so this is our Super Ducks match case here. Waterproof, and matches and some striker paper in there. And then also in the other pocket, you'd have to have this for woods wandering. No man back in the day would go around without it. We have our double-bladed pocket knife. So again, all of this stuff, easy to carry, not a lot of gear. And I think that the folks in 1917 had a few things figured out. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little foray into the past and looking at a 1917 fisherman's war belt. Go out there and do war on those fish and have some fun doing it, and make you one of these kits. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. It's a lot of fun to put together, and it is actually quite practical. As always, I so appreciate you watching. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll find the link where you can sign up for our WayPoint Survival digital class. This is where you can train in the comfort and convenience of your own backyard the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find where you can sign up for the WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter, absolute chock full of great ideas, and it's totally free to you. Make sure and sign up for that today. You'll also find where you can sign up at waypointsurvival.com to take in-person classes here at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And those classes start here in a couple of weeks in April, so make sure you check that out and check out the required gear list. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.